I wasn't gonna make this video, but fuck it, I got nothing to lose. I'm sick and tired of seeing Gen Z be manipulated by the media or be too scared to speak up. I've been seeing a lot more Gen Zers just share why they've left the left, and it's given me the courage to speak up. Today, I will share with you why I left the left and its woke ideologies. The first part is how education programmed me to think this way, and the second part is how self-education uninstalled that programming from my brain. Let's get started. So I'm coming from the experience of someone who went through public education. My entire life, I was told that, the Democrats were the good guys and the Republicans were the bad. And so for a long time, that's what I used to think. In middle school, I actually had a best friend who we would go to like parkour, we'd go to Blockbuster and like rent movies and play Minecraft till like 3 in the morning. He was a best friend to me in middle school. And his mom was like a second mother to me. And so when the election of Mitt Romney and Obama came, I found out that they were actually Republican and they were going to vote for Mitt Romney. How I reacted internally was like, oh my God, are they racist? But that's stupid. It's like, obviously, we had been friends for a while. I had been coming over for multiple months already at that point. I didn't think too much of it. Like, I just thought, oh, they're Republican. But it wasn't as polarized as it is today. So I was able to, set my differences and still be friends with my friend and have no hate towards his mom. Like, we were all cool. And so that should have taught me that, that whole narrative actually doesn't make sense. The Democrats are the good guys, Republicans are bad. But, I was still in middle school, so, I couldn't really connect the dots. From middle school, right, we go to high school. And here's where I actually started having these negative views of America. I started to hear this idea of like, eat the rich, fuck the patriarchy, let America burn to the ground, and like all that shit. Subconsciously, it started to make me hate the American side of me. And it's like, I felt fine with my Salvi side and my Mexican side. Like, I understood the culture, I understood the values, the traditions. And so I had a healthy relationship with that side of me. But when it came to the American side, it's like I had to hate that side of me to be accepted. It was a very weird concept. And so, yeah, I just started having a negative view towards America, and it got worse in college. In college, there was even more radical ideas starting to indoctrinate me. The first one was gender ideology. I had no idea what this was until freshman orientation in college. So I still remember the first day I went to orientation. We all got in a group, there was like a leader, and she was the one that kind of gave us a tour of the campus, and we actually got in a circle. Like always, we always do like a little icebreaker and then we introduce ourselves, right? And so in this introduction, we had to say our name, our major, and our pronouns. And I didn't even know what pronouns were at that time. So, I'm in this circle and, people are introducing themselves saying their majors, and like, I'm freaking panicking. I'm like, what the fuck is this pronoun stuff? So I look to the person to my left and I'm like, what is this pronoun stuff like? And then they tell me like, oh, he, him, his, and she, her, hers. I'm like, what is that? Like, I was confused. And so as everyone's introducing themselves, I'm like, wait, what is it again? He, him, his. Like, I swear, he started getting frustrated. I was like, chill, chill, chill. I'm just like, under my breath, I'm just like, he, him, his, he, him, his, he, him, his, he, him, his. As the circle is getting closer to me, and when it's my turn, I'm like, hi, my name's Alex. I'm majoring in kinesiology, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure I said it right, but I was nervous as fuck because I didn't know what this was. I never even questioned it. That's the crazy part. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is what everyone is saying. He, him, his, she, her, hers. And I didn't realize that that's where it really started, this whole gender ideology. I never really questioned it. And, in my 3 years of college, I just started seeing it pushed more and stuff. And like, I don't even know at what point I just accepted the fact that a guy can say that they have she, her, hers pronouns or stuff. Like, it's just wild to me how that happened. But during those 3 years of college, I just became more hateful in my heart. I just always felt like, communism versus capitalism, radical feminism, racism. Like, I always felt so oppressed because I'm Mexican. Like, and Salvi, like, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm American. I'm not oppressed. If anything, the only racism I've experienced is through the left, saying I have to subscribe to this list of ideologies. Otherwise, I'm not actually Mexican. I'm whitewashed. Like, but that's for a different story. During college, I really just had an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was anymore. I was feeling lost. I didn't know what I believed. I felt like I had lost my true authentic self. I felt like I couldn't even express my actual opinions, and I was just saying things because everyone else was saying it. And so during the 3rd year of college, just to sum it up, like, I just went through a rough time. Like, I was juggling way too many tasks, right? Because I felt like that was the right thing to do. That's the advice that they were giving me, and like, I burnt myself out. It was just too much of things that I didn't like. And so I remember being so eager to finish that 3rd year because, God, I just wanted it to be summer. Deep, deep down, my intuition told me that I was going to drop out. But, that sounds like scary to even think about or say that time. So I convinced myself to just take a gap year. And that's what I told everyone too. And so I did take that gap year. And that's when my life really 180'd. I started to discover myself again, what I thought, what I liked. And being away from the college environment for a year really just gave me that space in my head, to really reflect what I had gone through that year. But not just that year, but the 2 other years that had led up to that point. I felt so miserable. Here are the conclusions I came down to. College was a toxic ass environment. I had constant negative influences around me, and it really brought the worst out of me. I was not ambitious. I was lazy. I was a stoner, going to parties, just worst version of myself. The second thing I noticed was that we're not even being educated, right? I actually understood education outside of college when I started to choose topics I was interested in, reading books, watching videos, taking good notes. So, what I learned is that we're paying to be indoctrinated, not educated. And so there's also a huge parallel between how colleges function and corporate culture. I also started seeing that corporate started going woke too. And so I was like, if I can't handle the wokeness in college, how the fuck am I going to do that for an entire career? Yeah, no, fuck that. I need to find another way to make money. Up to this point, I didn't even realize how woke I was. Self improvement was the thing that dug me out of that. Because self improvement rejects the victim mentality. It says it's not your fault, but it is your problem. I stopped feeling oppressed because of the system, and I stopped hating certain parts of me, like being American or being a man. Like, I just started healing from within. And as time went on and I started learning more, about history and politics and economics and these concepts, like, I started to realize that, like, wait, hold up. School has been lying to me these whole years. I'm not oppressed. I'm not doomed because of the color of my skin. Like, if anything, I have an advantage because I was born here, right? Isn't that the whole point on why our parents moved here in the first place? For opportunities? Things started to make sense. We have to be very careful of where we're getting these ideas from, not just because we saw it on TikTok. No. Where did that idea come? Fact check it. Is it true? Actually go fucking read a book for once. See the facts. I realized I started going into the self-education part already, but yes, self-education was the thing that uninstalled the woke programming from my brain. The biggest tip I can give for self-education, right? If you don't know where to start, just allow your curiosity to guide you. You have interests, right? Don't let school ruin education for you or learning, because their version of learning sucks, right? It's tests, it's memorize these facts and never use them again. Erase that version of learning. Learning is one of the most fulfilling things human beings can do. But it's just about finding the right interests for you. If you're interested in the topic, you'll learn and you'll want to learn. Self education also healed this hatred I had for my American side and for my masculine side, right? I was taught in the school system to hate masculinity, right? And indeed, not all masculinity is bad. There's toxic masculinity, there's good masculinity, there's toxic femininity. We don't talk about that, right? And there's good femininity. So I've healed a lot of that hatred I've had in my heart. And I've noticed that I'm a lot more tolerant of opposing views now. Like when I was woke, I hated hearing an opposing view. Like it almost programs you to consider them enemies. Like I've seen so many stories of like people just opening up about, their beliefs on like controversial topics or because they support Trump. And then they just completely like cut that friend off or they're like, "Oh my god, you're like a bigot and all this stuff." And like they just cut them off completely and it's like, "What the hell? Like what about the memories we've shared, the experiences we've shared and like just throwing that all of that out the trash because of an opposing view?" It's really just healed this hate in my heart and I'm okay with people having a different opinion than me, as long as we're civilized. That's all that matters to me. And also, self education has given me a holistic understanding of the world. When you start to study different areas of the world, you start to see how interconnected everything is. When you start to make these connections, you just start to understand the world in a deeper level. And I think a lot of us Americans don't understand how the world works. We need to be better about studying different topics, traveling other countries if, you're able to, because man, do you get a different perspective on life. And life is not just about your career, going to college, doing these things just to find a job and work till you retire and then you enjoy life and then you die. Like that's not life. Life is so much deeper than that. And we're here for such a short amount of time. We were born into this time period in history and it's like we should really make the best of it with the people you love, explore, because we're only here for a short amount of time. And I wished that was taught in schools. I think school would be a lot more fun. So, the main takeaway I want you to take from this video is to start to question things. Do you actually believe what you're saying, or are you just afraid of how people will react to your views and opinions? And here's a crazy thought: we can disagree and still be friends. That's the American way. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.